Hey guys, I'm going to read a quick chapter and then I'm going to get off. Let me put my little banner up of that I'm reading Shift Your Mind, Shift the World by Steve Chandler. And chapter 65 is Victim Thinking Drags Me Down. A victim is someone who wakes up in the morning and interprets natural, normal events as threats and injustices. He then talks all day in victimized language, which deepens the problem. Language is the house of being for a victim, and it is a bleak house. It's a self fulfilling prophecy to think I'm a victim because when I speak victim language, it carries me down to the lowest levels of productivity and creativity. And at those low levels, I am less capable of solving problems or creating wealth or even creating relationships. All the things I wish I could do. So now I become even more of a victim. My victim self concept creates more victim language. Soon, other victims gather around me to reinforce them. They tell me they are victims too, and that it's real. They say it has nothing to do with the mind, it's just out there. Meanwhile, victim language causes low energy. So the problems are now piling up. Who has the energy to solve them? Who has the willpower? Who has the heart anymore? Predators and manipulators see my vulnerable and weak state. Now I'm taken advantage of, and it's real stuff and true, not in the mind at all. Now other people use me for things, and I never really get respect. A victim talks about people who made her feel inferior. Later in the day, she singles out people who made her feel stressed. That's the victim's life. Her emotions are all caused by other people, or so it seems. No wonder she's now mildly afraid of other people. Can you blame her? Look how everyone makes her feel. If I say to her, "Have a really great day," she might say to me, "Well, I sure hope so, but how would I know if I was going to have a great day? How in the world would I know ahead of time whether today is going to be great?" Whereas owners can actually say, "I will appreciate this day as a great day." And that's a primary difference between the two people, sometimes known as a distinction. When I'm a victim, I'll start my day by reviewing what I dread. I have dread for breakfast. What do I hope doesn't happen to me? What should I watch out for today? Oh no, I have this darn meeting. Oh my goodness, there's so much more to do today than I have time to do. What will I do? I'm already stressed just thinking about my day. And this thought produced, stressed out state makes me less effective. And so I make mistakes. I forget to call someone back. I lock my keys in the car. My judgment is bad. I waste time needlessly. I avoid what's important. Ownership is the opposite of that downward spiral. Its starting point is gratitude and awareness of my essential creativity. So rather than a desired state to get to, creativity is the beginning place, a place to come from. A lot of times when people attend the owner victim seminar, they'll come up to me later and say, "Now I've really got to be more of an owner. I heard what you said. I can see where that would really help my life. And I know it's going to take a lot of work for me to do it. But I just know I'm going to, but I just know I'm going to be able to get there someday if I read your book again and really practice." My answer is it's not a place to get to. It's a place to come from. In fact, it's very natural. You're already there. Only thought can change that. Circumstances can't. In the seminar, I like keeping it as simple and distinct as possible. I have two flip charts. That's it. No PowerPoint or multimedia overheads. I don't come into the course descending from the ceiling like David Bowie in Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. The loudspeakers aren't singing ground control to Major Tom when I walk in. Some motivators like those approaches, but I'm not there to motivate anyone. I'm there to uncover a gentle distinction. One of the flip charts I label owner, the other I label victim. I begin to put words on each flip chart. I write simple phrases. People sit and watch and look at the two different flip charts as I walk back and forth between them. They can see victim thoughts. They let them sink in. They sit back and look at them in a very objective way. And then they can look at ownership thoughts, the language of owners of the human spirit, people who don't offer their spirit to others to be broken during the day. I might quote Eleanor Ro- Ro- Roosevelt to further the distinction of owner. She said, "No one can make me feel inferior without my permission." I can see people reflecting on that remark. I actually see some of them realizing that no one can make them feel inferior without their permission. The mind shifts. All right. Chapter 66. What don't you why don't you know how to do it? It's very interesting to me that people believe that what's missing in their lives is a knowledge of how to do something. I don't know how to get business, or I don't know how to start, or I don't know how to attract clients to me, or I don't know how to let people know when I'm available for work. Well, the how to is never really what's missing here. In all my years of coaching people, when they have told me I don't know how to, what's really true is I don't want to yet. I even tell them, I even, I sometimes even tell them right out loud, right after they have told me they don't know how to do something important. You just don't want to yet. One man, call him Dodger, although that's not his real name, I was working with had a wonderful business, tremendously beautiful service he offered, and a great number of clients who loved his work. But the business wasn't running at a profit. So they would say to me, "I don't know how to run a business. I don't know how to do this. This is the part I don't know how to do." And it was funny because I knew when he was saying this that what he really meant was, "I don't want to run a business. I've never wanted to know how to run a business. I've never really wanted to take full responsibility for running a business at a profit." When you want to, that thing we'll call the want to, the desire, is strong enough, the how to comes quite quickly. You'll find it so fast, it will be just amazing to you when your want to is strong enough. I have people come up to me and say, I want to be a public speaker. But I don't know how to do it. How do you start? I don't know how to start. I'm thinking to myself, you don't want to be one yet. Because if you wanted to be one, you would have found out how. You'd be in that library or the internet. You'd be reading. It's all there. Or you'd skip all that and you'd be speaking here, there, and everywhere. I remember when I finally had a burning desire to be a public speaker. I knew it was what I wanted to be able to do, to make my primary income from talking to groups. When I got full clarity and inner guidance, I then knew I wouldn't stop at anything until I made that happen. Once my desire, my want to, was at that certain critical level, I became a tireless explorer. I was hunting down the how to. I was reading a book at the time, and I remember reading avidly, voraciously, by Napoleon Hill. And inside it, he said he himself wanted to be a public speaker and didn't know how to start. So he decided to give some free talks. He had a friend who had a restaurant that was struggling, and he said he would help the restaurant by giving free talks to attract people in there to hear him. The friend said yes. He had nothing to lose. So Napoleon Hill would come to this little restaurant once a week and talk. People started coming in because of his free talks. Soon he had a following and it got bigger and bigger, and the restaurant started to thrive. The talk was free. Everybody won. I got excited reading that. So I asked the president of a company I was working for if I could use our building to do a weekly free talk for people. He had a huge meeting room there, and it wasn't being used in the evenings. What if I gave a free talk every Tuesday night? Could I use the meeting room? And could I bring people in here? He was skeptical but indulgent. He said, well, sure, why not? So I began to pass out flyers at all the surrounding businesses to let people know Tuesday night goal achievement meeting. Bring your goals. We'll talk about how to achieve them. Free. It won't cost you anything. The first Tuesday night meeting, two people showed up. There I was in front of the huge room, and there are two people. But I decided to give those two people the best evening they ever had. I passed out little sheets that I made with lots of quotes on them about achieving goals and blank areas for the exercises we would do. I was a single father with no babysitter, so my kids sat in the class too. 6 months later, the class was packed. It was overrun with people. The word got out, and I got better. And now some of the people attending started asking, what do you charge to come into a company to do this? I had also begun to give free talks at places like Rotary, where other people came up and asked, "What do you charge to come talk to my what would you charge to come talk to my sales team?" My career was getting launched. I didn't need to know how to become a public speaker because I was in action already doing it. My way wasn't the way to do it. There are many other ways to do it. There are probably about 1,000 different ways to do it, but finding a good way to do it is not the issue here. because once I really wanted to, it was done. The power of commitment always handles that for you. Anytime you want something to happen and you find yourself telling yourself and other people that you don't know how to, it is time for a mind shift. Don't allow yourself to be pulled into that passive state of telling yourself you would love to do it, but you don't know how. That's never what's stopping you. What's true is you don't want to yet. And it doesn't really reflect badly on you that you don't want to yet. You can't want everything in life. You've got to choose, but only when you are ready, and you will know. All right, guys, I'm going to stop here and end the stream. We'll see you guys. See, it's Thursday night, so I'll probably see